Hi team, let's talk about some of the network's terminology that we've gone over, just to recap and refresh, and for you guys to also use as revision. So we're talking about networks and graphs. So that's our current topic. So let's talk about some of the elements of a graph. So we've got these points that will be in a graph. Now, they are vertices with a single one called a vertex. So vertices, vertex. And then we've got these lines which join up these vertices, like so. Just like that. And those vertices, there's actually a couple different types. So I'm going to label a couple of these. So I'm going to label my vertices A, B, C, D, and E. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertices. So then I've got different edges. So I've got the edge AB, I've got the edge BD, then I've got this loop here which connects D to D, and then these here are two different edges. So where two edges connect the same points, it's called multiple edges. And then this guy over here is actually an isolated vertex. So he's off all on his own. He's got no edges to connect him to the rest of the graph. And then lastly, something that we are going to cover but haven't quite yet talked about is a face. So graphs actually have a number of faces to them as well. So now that we've got some of that basic terminology down, let's have a look at a few other parts of a graph that we've talked about. So I'm just going to draw up a new graph, and we're going to talk about the degree of a vertex. Just bear with me while I connect this all up. So I've got A, B, C, and D. Now, I'm going to start off by going that there are 4 vertices. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 edges. Then I want to know what the degree of vertex B is. So degree of B, so what it's asking when it's talking about the degree of a vertex is how many edges come into or connect B. So you can see that we've got AB and BC, so that would be BC and AD, which means that we would simply have to write that the degree of B is equal to 2, which means that it's an even. B is an even vertex. If we talked about C though, so the degree of C, so we've got AC coming in, BC coming in, and CD coming in, or going out, whichever way you look at it, means that it's a degree 3. So it's an odd vertex. So I'm going to do a couple more examples of edges and vertices and the degree of particular vertexes, or vertices, sorry. If you're feeling comfortable with it, jump off now because that's all this video is going to focus on. And go ahead and get started on some of those questions if you'd like. Otherwise, stick with me and we'll go through a few more examples. So I'm just going to quickly draw up this graph. Okay, so it's asking for the number of vertices, firstly. So remember, vertices are these dots, the points where the edges come in to connect, or they may be isolated, remember. So here we've just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 vertices. The edges, remember the lines that connect either 2 vertices or a vertice to itself. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this one here isn't counted as 2 because there's no vertex here. They simply overlap. So it remains at 7 edges. Alright, we'll do one final example to finish this off and then move on to something different. Alright, let's look at this one. Okay, so again, if we're looking at the number of vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4 vertices, and the edges, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. So hopefully that's all made sense now. Make sure you're working through the questions and check out the next video for the next part.